How many of you remember playing the original Baldur's Gate? I'm guessing probably a lot of you. Baldur's Gate was one of the greatest and most awesome RPGs ever made. Well, it was a great RPG. Or at least a good one. Okay, I thought it was kinda shit, but that's not important here. What's important is that for some reason, a lot of people loved it and it has a special place in the hearts of many PC gamers from my generation. So naturally, it was the type of thing that was just sitting around waiting for the feminist crowd to squat over and take a massive Sarkeesian on it. A company named Beamdog has taken it upon themselves to suckle the Baldur's Gate teat by releasing an expanded edition interquel for the game that apparently makes it better, more balanced, improves the graphics, and adds new content. New content which includes the addition of several new characters that you can take as party members, such as an openly trans dark elf, a gay character, and a bi character, though there may be some overlap with those.
When I was born, my parents thought me a boy and raised me as such. In time, we all came to understand I was truly a woman. I created my new name from syllables of different languages. All have special meaning to me. It is the truest reflection of who I am.
Wow, I totally cannot tell that this character was written by feminists because she is so well characterized and the writing is so subtle.
Have to sleep, don't you?
Fortunately, you can just kill the character outright for a nice fat 2000 XP, and the eternal thanks of gamers everywhere. Diversity, however, was not the only problem with the original game, and the creators went to great lengths to fix some of the pressing issues. One writer named Amber Scott spoke to Kotaku and gave them her position on the matter. If there was something for the original Baldur's Gate that just doesn't mesh for modern day gamers, like the sexism, we try to address that. In the original, there's a lot of jokes at women's expense, or if not a lot, there's a couple. Good waffling there. Like Safana was just a sex object in PG-1, and Jaheira was the nagging wife, and that was played for comedy. We were able to say like, no, that's not really the kind of story we want to make. In Siege of Dragonspear, Safana gets her own little storyline. She got a way better personality upgrade. If people don't like that, then too bad. So the sexism, as you put it, does not mesh with modern day gamers. Yet you openly acknowledge that modern day gamers are not likely to like what you're doing. Aside from this being an absolutely boffo way to address the people that you're depending on to pay for your product, and thus your paycheck, I cannot handle right now working my way through that kind of obvious cognitive dissonance this early in the morning. I'll just let that paragraph infect your brains and move on. I have to wonder, in my usual wondering fashion, if they did anything to alter the character of Shartil. You remember Shartil? She was the openly man-hating warrior who spends all of her time in the game spitting on every man that she encounters in the party, or just in the world in general. Or if they changed Drow society, which is tyrannically matriarchal and strongly oppressive, often violently so, to men. Surely they changed that, right? Right? So far, the game has been roasted over and over on Steam and Metacritic, with players beating on the game for its many, many flaws, citing the presence of dozens of game-disrupting bugs, including an unplayable multiplayer mode, poor UI, bad voice acting, horrible writing, linear progression, and overall being a complete dick slap to the face of the original game. The ratings on the game have been dropping faster and faster every minute. Or, as Beamdog reported it, Gamergate hates trans people. The situation became so bad that the founder of Beamdog, Trent Oster, who was formerly the co-founder of BioWare, and of course it would be someone from BioWare, came out and made a plea of people on the Beamdog forums to come and give them upvotes on Steam. Yeah, sure, we condemned the previously beloved game as sexist, told anyone who had a problem with our changes to shove their own dicks up their ass and fuck themselves till creamy gobs of spunk flew out of their mouths, then handed you a poorly written, buggy as hell, and largely unplayable piece of shit on a plate, before handing you the knife and fork and telling you to dig in. But let's ignore that and have the gall to say that it's only because we put in some trans people. And of course, Beamdog is locking down and censoring any forum right now that they have the ability to control. Though they don't know why I even bother to mention that, as SJW's attempting censorship is, by this point, is well, kinda goes without saying. It's like saying Jim Carrey made a silly face, a Kennedy was drinking, or Amy Schumer stole a joke. You can really tell the BioWare pedigree from how Trent and his fellow BioWareite, Cameron Topher, are handling the whole thing. This is just like when people saw the shit ending to Mass Effect 3, and BioWare responded by accusing everyone who had legitimate problems with that unholy abortion of a narrative of entitlement and bigotry. Public relations don't reel, yo. Look, guys, I get it. I really do. You think that you've done this awesome transformative work, and you just can't understand why no one likes your bug-ridden, poorly done fanfic in video game format. And yes, it is totally really just a conspiracy of evil MRAs and virgin neckbeards lurking in the shadows with one hand tapping furiously on the keyboard and the other hand slowly masturbating themselves as they dream about how they're going to ruin your game so that it will somehow increase the oppression of women and minorities, or genders, or whatever the fuck word you've come up with this hour. But guys, just follow me here for a moment. Maybe, just maybe, it's you. Maybe the game is just shit. I know, I'm talking crazy talk here. This is why this kind of mentality is the death of any sort of creative medium. It's hard to grow or improve at something that you're doing when you already think that you're always right and correct. Nothing gets better without coming to grips with its flaws. Having a persecution complex is not conducive to other creative works or implementing social change.